Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Chapter 8. Shri Shuka Uvacha Ekadatu Mahanadhyam Krutabhishekanaya Mikavashyako Brahmaksharamabhi Grunano Muhurtatraya Mudakanta Upavivesha. Sri Shukadeva Goswami continued, My dear king, one day after finishing his morning duties, evacuating, urinating, and bathing, Maharaja Bharata sat down on the bank of the river Gandaki for a few minutes and began chanting his mantra, beginning with Omkara. Tatra tada rajan harini pipasaya tatra tada rajan harini pipasaya jalashyabhyashame kaivopa jagama. O king, while Bharata Maharaja was sitting on the bank of that river, a doe, being very thirsty, came there to drink. Taya pepiyamana udake tavadeva vidurena nadato mrugapaterun nado loka bhayankara udapatat. While the doe was drinking with great satisfaction, a lion, which was very close, roared very loudly. This was frightful to every living entity, and it was heard by the doe. Tamupashrutya sa mrugavadhuhu prakriti viklava chakita nirikshana Sutaramapi Hari Bhayabhiniveshavyagrahridaya Paripla Vadishti Ragata Trusha Bhayat Saha Saivochakrama. By nature, the doe was very afraid of being killed by others, and it was always looking around suspiciously. When it heard the lion's tumultuous roar, it became very agitated, looking here and there with disturbed eyes. The doe, although it was not fully satisfied itself by drinking water, suddenly leaped across the river. The doe, although it had not fully satisfied itself by drinking water, suddenly leaped across the river. Tasya utpatantya antar varsnyaya urubhayava galito yoni nirghato garbha stotrasi nipapata. The doe was pregnant, and when it jumped out of fear, the baby deer fell from the womb into the flowing waters of the river. Tatprasavotsarpana kedatura swagadina viyujyamana kasyanchidartam Dartyam Krishna Saramsati Nipapatatacha Mamara. Being separated from its flock and distressed by its miscarriage, the black doe, having crossed the river, was very much distressed. Indeed, it fell down in a cave and died immediately. तं त्वेन कृणकं कृपणं स्तोतसानुह्यमानमभिवीक्ष्य वीक्ष्यापविधं बन्धुरिवानुकम्पया राजर्षिर्भरत आधय मृतमातरमित्याश्रमपदमनयत्. The great king Bharata, while sitting on the bank of the river, saw the small deer, bereft of its mother, floating down the river. Seeing this, he felt great compassion. Like a sincere friend, he lifted the infant deer from the waves and, knowing it to be motherless, brought it to his ashrama. तस्य हावा येन कृणका उच्चैरेतस्मिन् कृतनिजाभिमानस्याहर हस्तत्पोषणपालन लालन प्रीणनानुध्यानेनात्मनि नियमाः सह यमाः पुरुष परिचर्याधय एकैकशः कतिपयेनाहर्गणेन वियुज्यमानाः किल सर्व एवोद्धवसन्. Gradually, Maharaja Bharata became very affectionate towards the deer. He began to raise it and maintain it by giving it grass. He was always careful to protect it from the attacks of the tigers and other animals. When it itched, he petted it, and in this way he always tried to keep it in a comfortable condition. He sometimes kissed it out of love. Being attached to raising the deer, Maharaja Bharata forgot the rules and regulations for advancement of spiritual life, and he gradually forgot to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. After a few years, he forgot everything about his spiritual advancement. Aho bhatayam हिरण्यकृणकः कृपणा ईश्वर रथचरणपरिभ्रमणरयेण स्वगणु सुहृद् बन्धुभ्यः परिवर्जितः शरणं च मोपसादितो मामेव मातापितरौ भ्रातृज्ञातीन् यौतिकांश्चैवोपेयाय नान्यं कञ्चन वेद मय्यति विस्रब्धश्चात एव मया मत्परायणस्य पोषणपालन प्रीणनलाल नमनसूयूनानुष्ठेयं शरण्योपेक्षा दोष विदुषा. The great king Maharaja Bharata began to think, alas, this helpless young deer, by the force of time, an agent of Supreme Personality of Godhead, has now lost its relatives and friends and has taken shelter of me. It does not know anyone but me, as I have become its father, mother, brother, and relatives. This deer is thinking in this way, and it has full faith in me. It does not know anyone but me. Therefore, I shall not be envious and think that for the deer my own welfare. It does not know anyone but me. Therefore, I shall not be envious and think that for the deer my own welfare will be destroyed. I should certainly raise, protect, gratify, and fondle him. When it has taken shelter with me, how can I neglect it? Even though the deer is disturbing my spiritual life, I realize that a helpless person who has taken shelter cannot be neglected. That would be a great fault. Nunam hyarya साधव उपशमशीलाः कृपणसुहृत् एवं विधार्ते स्वार्थानपि गुरुतरानुपेक्षन्ते. Even though one is in the renowned order, one who is advanced certainly feels compassion for suffering living entities. One should certainly neglect his own personal interests, although they may be very important to protect one who has surrendered. इति कृतानुषङ्गम् आसनशयनाट न स्नानाशनादिषु सह मृगजहूना स्नेहानुबद्धहृदया आसीत्. Due to the attachment for the deer, Maharaja Bharata lay down with it, walked about with it, bathed with it, and even ate with it. Thus his heart became bound to the deer in affection. कुशकुसुमसमित्पलाश फलमूलोदकान्या हरिष्यमाणो वृकसाला वृकादिभ्यो मयमाशंसमानो यदा सह हरिणकुणकेन वनं समाविशति. When Maharaja Bharata wanted to enter the forest to collect kusa grass, flowers, wood, leaves, fruits, roots, and water, he would fear that the dogs, jackals, tigers, and other ferocious animals might kill the deer. He would therefore always take the deer with him when entering the forest. Patishu cha mrugdhamaven tatra tatra vishaktamatipranaya bharahridayah karpanyat skandhenodvahati evamutsanga urasi chadhayopalalayan mudam paramamavapa. When entering the forest, the animals would appear very attractive to Maharaja Bharata due to its childish behavior. Maharaja Bharata would even take the deer on his shoulders and carry it due to affection. His heart was so filled with great love for the deer that he would sometimes keep it on his lap or when sleeping on his chest. In this way, he felt great pleasure in fondling the animal. Kriyayam nirvartyamanayamantaralepyuttayottaya yadainamabhichakshita tarhivava savarshapatih prakrutistena manasa tasma ashisha ashastre swasti stadvatsate sarvata iti. When Maharaja Bharata was actually worshipping the Lord or was engaged in some ritualistic ceremony, although his activities were unfinished, he would still, at intervals, get up and see where the deer was. In this way, he would look for it, and when he could see that the deer was comfortably situated, his mind and heart would be satisfied, and he would bestow his blessings upon the deer, saying, "My dear calf, may you be happy in all respects." Anyada brusha mudvignamana nashtadravina iva krupanaha sakaruna matitarshena harina kunaka viraha vihwala hridaya santapastamevanushocan kila kashmala mahadhabira rambitha iti hovacha. If Bharata Maharaja sometimes could not see the deer, his mind would be very agitated. He would become like a miser who, having obtained some riches, had lost them and had then become very unhappy. When the deer was gone, he would be filled with anxiety and would lament due to separation. Thus, he would become illusioned and speak as follows. अपि भत स वै कृपण येन बालको मृतहरिणी सुतोः ममानार्यस्य षटकिरातमतेर कृतसुकृतस्य कृतविस्रभ्य आत्मप्रयत्येन तदविगणयन् सुजन इवागमिष्यति. Bharata Maharaja would think, alas, the deer is now helpless. I am now very unfortunate, and my mind is like a cunning hunter, for it is always filled with cheating propensities and cruelty. The deer has put its faith in me, just as a good man who had natural interest in good behavior forgets the behavior of a cunning friend and puts his faith in him. Although I have proved faithless with this deer's with this dear return and place its faith although I have proved faithless with this dear return and place its faith in me. अपिक्षेमेणास्मिन्नाश्रमोपनेशस्य शष्पाणि चरन्तं देव गुप्तं दक्ष्यामि. Alas, it is possible that I shall again see this animal protected by the Lord and fearless of tigers and other animals. Shall I again see him wandering in the garden eating soft grass? Apichana vrukaha salavrukonyatamो va naikachara ekacharo va bhakshayati. I do not know, but the deer might have been eaten by a wolf or a dog, or by the boars that flock together on the tiger who travels alone. Nimlochati ha Bhagavan sakala jagatkshemodayassrashyatma sakala jagatkshemodayassrayatmadhyapi mamana mrughava dhunyasa agachati. Alas, when the sun rises, all auspicious things begin. Unfortunately, they have not begun for me. The sun god is the Vedas personified, but I am bereft of all Vedic principles. That sun god is now setting, yet the poor animal who trusted in me since its mother died has not returned. Api kidha kruta sukruta magatya mam sukha yishyati harinaraja kumaro vivida ruchira darshaniya nijamrughadhara kavinodaira santosham swanama panudhan. That deer is exactly like a prince. When will it return? When will it again display its personal activities, which are so pleasing? When will it again pacify a wounded heart like mine? I certainly must have pious assets, otherwise the deer would have. I certainly have no pious assets, otherwise the deer would have returned by now. Shvelikayam mam mrushasamadhinamilita drusham prema sambrambhena chakita agatya prushada parusha vishanagrena lutati. Alas, that small deer, while passing with me and seeing me feign meditation with closed eyes, would circumambulate me due to anger arising from love, and it would fearfully touch me with the points of its soft horns, which felt like drops of water. Asaditaha vishi barhishi dushite मयोपालब्धो भीतः सपदुपरतरास ऋषिकुमारवध वहित karana kalapa aste. When I placed all the sacrificial ingredients on the kusa grass, the deer, when playing, would touch the grass with its teeth and thus pollute it. When I chastised the deer by pushing it away, it would immediately become fearful and sit down motionless, exactly like the son of a saintly person. Thus it would show its play. Kim va are acharitam tapasvinyanaya yadhiyamavanihi savinaya krishnasara tanayatanu tarasubhaga शिवतमाख रघुरपद पलिङ्भिर्द्रविण विदुरातुरस्य कृपणस्य मम द्रविणपदवीं सूचयन्त्यात्मानं च सर्वतः कृतकौतुकं द्विजानां स्वर्गापवर्गकामानां देवयजनं karoti. After speaking like a madman in this way, Maharaja Bharata got up and went outside. Seeing the footprints of the deer on the ground, he praised the footprints out of love, saying, "O unfortunate Bharata, your austerities and penances are very insignificant compared to the penance and austerity undergone by this earth planet. Due to the earth's severe penances, the footprints of this deer, which are small, beautiful, most auspicious, and soft, are imprinted on the surface of this fortunate planet. This series of footprints show a person like me, who am bereaved due to a loss of the deer, how the animal has passed through the forest and how I can regain my lost wealth. By these footprints, this land has become a proper place for Brahmanas who desire heavenly planets or liberation to execute sacrifices to the demigods." Apisvidhasau bhagavannuhupatirenam mrugapati bhayan mrutamataram mrugabalakam swashrama paribhrashtamanu kampaya krupana jana vatsalaha paripati. Maharaja Bharata continued to speak like a madman. Seeing above his head the dark marks on the rising moon, which resembled a deer, he said, "Can it be that the moon, who is so kind to an unhappy man, might also be kind upon my deer, knowing that it strayed from home and became motherless? This moon has given the deer shelter near itself just to protect it from the fearful attacks of a lion. Kim vat maja vishleshajwara dahana shikhabhirupatapyamana hrudayasthala nalinikam mamupa sruta mrugitanayam shishira shantanuraga gunita nijavadhana salila mrutamaya gabhistibhihi swadhayati ticha. After perceiving the moonshine, Maharaja Bharata continued speaking like a crazy man, like a crazy person. He said, "The deer's son was so submissive and dear to me that due to its separation, I am feeling separated from my own son. Due to the burning fever of this separation, I am suffering as if enflamed by the forest fire. My heart, which is like the lily of the land, is now burning. Seeing me so distressed, the moon is certainly splashing its shining nectar upon me, just as a friend throws water on another friend who has high fever. In this way, the moon is bringing me happiness. किं वात्मज विश्लेषज्वरदवदहन शिखाभिरुपतप्यमान हृदयस्थल नलिनीकं मामुपसृतमृगीतनयं शिशिरशान्तानुराग गुणित निज वदन सलिलामृतपयगभिस्तिभिः स्वधयतीति च. After perceiving the moonshine, Maharaja Bharata continued, speaking like a crazy man. He said, "The dear sun was so submissive and dear to me that due to its separation I am feeling separated from my own son. Due to the burning fever of this separation, I am suffering as if enflamed by the forest fire. My heart, which is like the lily of the land, is now burning. Seeing me so distressed, the moon is certainly splashing its shining nectar upon me, just as a friend throws water on another friend who has a high fever. In this way, the moon is bringing me happiness." एवमघटमानमनोरथाकुलहृदयो मृगधारकाभ्यासेन स्वारब्धकर्मणा योगारम्भणतो बिभ्रंशितः स योगतापसो भगवदाराधन लक्षणाच्च कथमितरथा जात्यन्तर येन कृणक आसङ्गः साक्षान्निःश्रेय सप्रतिपक्षतया प्राक्परित्यक्त दुस्त्यज हृदयाभिजातय तस्यैव मन्तराय विहत योगारभ्यणस्य राजर्षेर्भरतस्य तावन्मृगार्भकपोषणपालन प्रीण नलालनानुषङ्गेण विगणयथ आत्मान महिरिवाकुबिलं दुरतिक्रमः कालः करालरभस आपद्यत. Shukadeva Goswami continued, "My dear king, in this way, Bharata Maharaja was overwhelmed by an uncontrollable desire which was manifest in the form of a deer. Due to the fruitive results of his past deeds, he fell down from mystic yoga, austerity, and worship of Supreme Personality of Godhead. If it were not done due to his past fruitive activity, how could he have been attracted to the deer after giving up the association of his own son and family, considering them stumbling blocks on the path of spiritual life? If it were not due to his own past fruitive activity, how could he have been attracted to a deer after giving up the association of his own son and family, considering them stumbling blocks on the path of spiritual life? How could he show such uncontrollable affection for a deer? This was definitely due to his past karma. The king was so engrossed in petting and maintaining the deer that he fell down from his spiritual activities. In due course of time, insurmountable death, which is compared to a venomous snake that enters the hole created by a mouse situated inside before him. तदानीमपि पार्श्ववर्तिनमात्मज विमानुषोचन्तमभिवीक्ष्यमाणो मृग एवाभिनिवेशित मना विसृज्य लोकमिमं सह मृगेण कलेवरं मृतमनुन मृतजन्मानुस्मृति रितरवन् mrugashariramavápa. After the time of death, the king saw that the deer was sitting by his side exactly like his own son and was lamenting his death. Actually, the mind of the king was absorbed in the body of the deer, and consequently, like those bereft of Krishna consciousness, he left the world, the deer, and his material body, and acquired the body of the deer. At the time of death, the king saw that the deer was sitting by his side exactly like his own son and was lamenting his death. Actually, the mind of the king was absorbed in the body of the deer, and consequently, like those bereft of Krishna consciousness, he left the world, the deer, and his material body, and acquired the body of a deer. However, there was one advantage. Although he lost his human body and received the body of a deer, he did not forget the incidents of his past life. तत्रापि हावा आत्मनो मृगत्वकारणं भगवदाराधन समीहानुभावे नानुस्मृत्य भृशमनुतप्यमान आह. Although in the body of the deer, Bharata Maharaja, due to his rigid devotional service in his past life, could understand the cause of his birth in that body. Considering his past and present life, he constantly repented his activities, speaking in the following way. Aho kashtam भ्रष्टोऽहमात्मवतामनुपताध्यद्विमुक्ता समस्तसङ्घस्य विविक्तपुण्यारण्य शरणस्यात्मवत आत्मनि सर्वेषामात्मनां भगवति वासुदेवे तदनुश्रवण मनन संकीर्तनाराधनानुस्मरणाभियोगेनाशून्य सकलयामेन कालेन समावेशितं समाहितं कार्ष्ण्येन मनस्तत्तु पुनर्ममाबुद्धस्यारान् मृगसुतमनु परिसुस्राव. In the body of the deer, Bharata Maharaja began to lament. What misfortune! I have fallen from the path of self-realized. I gave up my real sons, wife and home to advance in spiritual life, and I took shelter in the solitary holy place in the forest. I became self-controlled and self-realized, and I engaged constantly in devotional service, hearing, thinking, chanting, worshipping, and remembering the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva. I was successful in my attempt, so much so that my mind was always absorbed in devotional service. However, due to my personal foolishness, my mind again became attached, this time to a deer. Now I have obtained the body of a deer and have fallen far from my devotional practices. Ityevam निरूढ निर्वेदो निसृज्य मृगीं भारतं पुनर्भगवत्श्रेत्रमुपाशमशीलमुनिगणदयितं शालग्राम पुलस्त्य पुलहाश्रमं कालञ्चरात् प्रत्याजगाम. Although Bharata Maharaja received the body of a deer, by constant repentance he became completely detached from all material things. He did not disclose these things to anyone, but he left his mother deer in a place known as Kalanjara mountain where he was born. He again went to the forest of Salagrama, to the ashrama of Pulastya and Pulaha. तस्मिन्नपि कालं प्रतीक्षमाणः सङ्गाञ्च मृषमुद्विग्न सहचरः शुष्कपर्णतृणविरुधा वर्तमानो मृगत्वनिमित्तावसानमेव गुणयन् मृगशरीरं तीर्दोकक्लिन्न namrutsasajja. Remaining in that ashrama, the great king Bharata Maharaja was now very careful not to fall victim to bad association. Without disclosing his past to anyone, he remained in that ashrama and ate dry leaves only. He was not exactly alone. For he had the association of the super soul. In this way, he waited for death in the body of the deer. Bathing in that holy place, he finally gave up that body. Thus ends the chapter entitled The Description of Character of Bharata Maharaja. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.